What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Sitting here doing some work today and was just reflecting on a time when I felt stuck. And I don't know if you've ever felt this in your life, in your personal life, in your career, maybe if you're in school and you just feel stuck. It feels like no matter what you do, no matter what you try, it just doesn't work. And I think about just different times in my life where I felt that, and then trying to remember, like, what was it that allowed me to get unstuck? And when I really started thinking about some of the steps, some of the tactics, really it comes down to three things that you can do. So if you're currently feeling stuck, here are three simple options that you can consider. First option is you can do nothing. You could do absolutely nothing. You can continue to do what you're doing right now. Maybe you hate your life. Maybe you hate your job. Maybe you hate your spouse. Please, if that's the case, I don't want to get involved in a marital. But if you just absolutely hate where you're at and you don't want anything to change, you don't have to change anything. You can continue to do what you're doing. But the one thing, if you're going to choose that route, you better stop complaining. Like, stop complaining, stop venting to everybody about how your life is miserable, how no matter what, nothing works, you can't do anything, make it right. Like, whatever that is, like, you just can't continue to complain. You can't continue to complain. Like, if you're gonna just keep doing what you're doing, then don't complain about it, right? So that's option one. Option two is that you can do micro changes. So you can look at your situation and identify what are some micro changes that you can do. That might be waking up 30 minutes earlier. It might be going to bed 30 minutes earlier. It may be cutting back on your Netflix time. It might be reducing some of your subscriptions you have on your TV so that you're vegging out, numbing out on nothingness. Instead, using that time to start a side hustle. Maybe you start doing surveys online. Maybe you try some of these gaming apps. Maybe you take a crack at a YouTube channel, or start a blog, or start an Etsy shop, or try some sort of freelancer gig on Fiverr. Whatever that is, like, it could be a micro change. And the beauty of the micro change is that when you start doing these little micro changes, all of a sudden they compound and they become big changes, and you start seeing the results. And I think about, like, even in my life, and this is probably going to surprise you unless you saw some of my older videos, but being a military guy, many people just assumed that I was an early riser, like that I loved getting out of bed, that my alarm went off at 4 a.m. and I was ready. I was ready to start my day. That wasn't the case. Maybe it was for a little while, but after having kids, I remember there was a time in my life when I literally would roll out of bed. Like, my alarm clock was my wife getting in the shower and me hearing her, and like, that's what would wake me up. I was literally rolling out of bed, jumping in the shower, getting my kids ready, then starting my day. Like, that's what I did. And then it was me reading a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and that completely changed my morning routine. So it was a micro change. It felt like a pretty big change. But all I started doing was waking up 30 minutes earlier, and I started doing this routine of reading, doing some exercise, journaling, praying, and it's crazy because that happened. That change was like 7-8 years ago, maybe even longer now. I don't even remember. But even today, guess what? I am a morning person. Like, I woke up, my alarm went off at 4:30 a.m. I spent some time with my puppies, but then I went to the gym, got my workout in, read the Bible, got my 6-minute journal done, got all my readings done. And this is before my kids had to go to school. Like, that was my morning. That's what I did today. And all because of a micro change that I made 7 or 8 years ago. And that's just like one example. And I'm sure I have dozens if I could sit here and yap on about them. But that's something you can do in your life, is instilling some sort of micro change. Now, the third option, and this is the most drastic of them all, is that you can do a big change. A huge change. The type of change that the people around you, your family members, your loved ones, they're probably gonna look at you being like, are you crazy? Are you high? Did you stop taking your medicine? What is going on? Some examples could be quitting your job. It could be going back to school, dropping out of school, taking on a second job. It could be divorcing that toxic spouse, breaking up with that toxic partner. I know, like, just to give you some examples, just so I can kind of preach from my own choir, for us, like, that was moving here to Nashville. We moved here over 5 years ago. That was a huge change, but I knew it was a change that was needed because I knew I was in this transition phase of not being a financial planner anymore and phasing into working on the online business, focusing on the blog, the YouTube channel, the podcast, so on and so forth. And that wasn't going to happen where we were living. It just wasn't. So we needed a big change, and that was moving. Big change was no longer being like my career of being a financial planner for 16 years and completely selling that business and then focusing on the online. Like that was a huge change. So like these are just examples, but like sometimes if you want extraordinary results, then you got to take massive action. You have to take the type of action that scares you. You have to take that type of action that literally have people around you, your loved ones, asking you, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you insane? Are you having a mental breakdown? That's the type of change if you want, like I said, extraordinary results. If you are just tired of living the same day, Groundhog's Day, over and over again, like if that's where you're at, then option 1 ain't gonna work. Option 2 could work. It's just gonna take you some time to finally see some of that change. Option 3, if you're willing, if you're daring, if you're bold, then that might be the option for you. Either option, whatever option you're considering, except for the first one, if you're needing some sort of help, I got a free resource in the description. It's my 10X Goal Accelerator cheat sheet. Just kind of help you be focused, be more productive on a daily basis. It is the sheet that has transformed my day and how I'm more productive, and that's free in the description. Might have it pinned in the first comment as well. But just want to do what I can do to help you feel unstuck, to feel like you're actually moving the needle forward versus just being stuck in the mud. I've been there. It's not fun. I promise you can get out. I promise you can get out. But I can only give you a nudge. You got to do the work. You got to figure out what you want. No change, micro change, or do you want some big effing scary changes? If you want different results, option 3. All right, y'all, until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.